Wir sind hier mit Achdé, dem neuen Lucky Luke-Zeichner. Und wir wollen Ihnen mal ein paar ungewöhnliche Fragen vielleicht auch in diesem Interview stellen. Ein paar Fragen, wie er überhaupt zu dem Beruf gekommen ist und was er vorher mal gemacht hat. So, welcome here to Frankfurt. And I guess it has been a tough day.
First thing, I have the impression I have understand German. You say the neue artist. Yeah,
The new artist.
since 10 years. I'm sorry, but 10 years. I'm not really new, but I like when you say it's new because I have impression to be young. It's nice. Okay, yes, it's my first day here in Frankfurt. Of course, it's incredible because it's very vast. It's incredible the number of both with all the country, all the culture, and me. I like so much the books, and for me, it's a very optimistic vision of the culture. When I look how much books are here in the same place, and books come from different country, different states, different culture, and of course in comic strip, but in essay, novelist, and different things like that. And for me, it's a great experience, but lot of works.
I have to clarify. You know, Morris did Lucky Luke so long, for such a long time. 10 years is still new, of course.
Yeah, during nearly 60 years, Maurice made this marvelous adventures. Of course, I am a little teardrop in this case, and of course for myself it's very strange because 10 years I have the impression it's only maybe 2 years. Marvelous experience, a kid's dream, really kid's dream, because Lucky Luke was my first shock when I discovered the Spirou when I was 4 years old. And the first real page I have seen, it was a panel of the judge. It's an adventure of Lucky Luke with a lot of characters with hats. And it's during a sort of a very strange duel between Lucky Luke and a bad man on a sort of ring of a boxing ring, and they play poker. It was incredible because it was very funny, and immediately I have had this sort of needing to draw, to try to do the same thing. In fact, I like drawing. I like pencil. I like to make sketches. But first, I want to write stories with my sketch, with my heart. And it's very different. It's not only one pictures, it's a lot of pictures. We want to, for the comic strip, for the artist in comic strip, it's not only our art very important. We want to make a story with this art. And of course, after this discovery of the art of Maurice and Uderzo with Asterix and Franquin with Pierrot. After maybe 5 or 6 years, at 10 or 11 years old, I explained to my mother, I will be artist in comic strip, and my mother say, okay, and she go to the kitchen to take his gun. To take air gun, sorry. Yeah, to take air gun and to say, repeat again. So prefer to wait. I was waiting during a long time because, of course, at the beginning of the 60s, when you said you want to be artist in a comic strip, it was completely incredible, and it was not a good picture. A professional pictures. It was not exactly what the parents would want for their children. So anyway, after a certain time, my mother accept, but she had never seen it. I'm sad, but it's true. Um, but actually, and now I am a professional, and I do what I have ever wanted to do. Really, kids dream, a lot of chance. Yeah.
But you didn't have this profession from the beginning. You had another profession before. You studied something else.
Yeah, yeah. Remember the gun of my mother? Yeah, often I like to say I was in the X movie, and everybody say you are in the porn movie. No, 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 no. In fact, during 7 years I was in the medical profession, and I work with X-ray and the nuclear medicine, and I was in this job. Of course, very different, but often, usually, I like to make little sketch for my patients, and they love, and it was a pleasure because when you have somebody sick on your table and waiting for bad news sometimes, and you show him a sketch, a funny sketch, and you look a smile on his face, you think, yeah, it's a good job. So one day I waked up and suddenly I said to my wife, to the girl who begin my wife after, I stopped this job. I want to make my dream, and I've let everything and start a strange life during 6 years. Very difficult, with no money, with a lot of problem. And just before my wife go to the kitchen and to take the gun again.
The same gun from your mother?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The gun is transmitted by wife, and girls by girls, and I have the chance to be looked by a publisher, and I start my career. And since 30 years, I work. I give my sketch to the others, and I'm very happy and very proud of that, because maybe it's strange, but I like this surname. I am popular artist, and I like that. I think the best thing you can do for with the art is to be popular, to give your expression to the maximum of people, littles, the kids, adults, of course. And I am very proud to tell to myself, my readers come out around 6 years old or 5 years old, and the oldest is Canadian, 99 years old. Incredible.
It's really incredible. So when you started really to be a professional, and when you started your real career after having difficulties for 6 years, which was your first comic book?
In fact, at the beginning, when I came to see the publisher, because I live in the south of France, and usually we like to say we go at the capital, at Paname in Paris, to see the great publisher, and always I arrive with my different sketch, and offer nearly the style of Maurice. And they say, no, 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 it's impossible. We have only one Maurice. It was at this time, this strange period, where the comics began adult, and it was clear that humoristic and popular comics was down at this time. Not for the money. Economically, it was a reality, but it's typically French. They like to be intellectual, and this reason why it was difficult for me. And one time, a friend of mine said, you can do everything. Try the school of Marcinelle is a style from Spirou, nearly Franken than Maurice. So at this time I prepare a project, and I remember I have sent two last letters to the publisher because at this time I don't any money, and my wife began to prepare her gun. And we have had a little boy with a lot of problem for him, and we need really money. And I have sent my last two letters, and with the rest of the money, we went to holidays. I remember it was incredibly for my son. And when we came back to home, incredibly, but I had received two good news, two acceptation for the two publisher. So I chose Dargo at this time, Dargo editor, and I start with humoristic series. His name was CRS égale détresse. In fact, it was gags about riot policemen, typically French, and our national sports. It's it's to stop the works, and you know that everybody wants to go down in the streets and to cry against the government, politics, and I show this typically pens of France and the French people and the French citizen, and I start with that, and incredibly, it was immediately a good series and with a little success, and little by little my public grew up, and I started like that.
When you took over Lucky Luke, well, when they decided to get you on Lucky Luke, were you surprised, or was it a big relief, or how was it?
It's strange because sometimes I have this reflection that everything is right. Maybe it's because my family come back from North Africa. We are French from North Africa, and we have a part of Arabian philosophy, and we have a name for that. It's Mektoub. It's right, and I say it's something must do. It's because it's right. So it's here again. It's very strong. It's a sort of destiny. I start by one day a friend of mine asked me to participate to a book, an homage to Maurice, and I've made four pages with a little story with Maurice and Lucky Luke, and strangely Maurice looked this book and look at my job and say it's not very bad. For me it was awful, but for him I think it's something. Yeah. So maybe 2 years after, I receive a call phone, and they asked me, Maurice will want to have a new series with Rantanplan, but in strip, because he want to publish everywhere in the world and in newspaper, and it's more easy to have a new series with Rantanplan. Is perfect characters, completely stupid and very funny, but in a strip, only one strip, it's very easy. So I start the job on this end, and Maurice accept the project, and he wanted I continue this project. And during the realization, sadly, Maurice is dead. It was the first steps of this strange stairways, because I think my life is like a stairways, and each stage is a part, a new part of my life, of my professional life. And the second time it was I received news, and the publisher told me that Maurice wanted that Lucky Luke continues to live, and I wanted I make a practice and try 2 or 3 pages to show if I was agree and of course okay to do it. For me, it was incredible because after Rontemplan, it was magic. It was a little my 1 foot in the universe of Lucky Luke, and suddenly they asked me, "Do you accept to try with Lucky Luke?" And of course, I say I want to try because it's very different to make a little strips and to make a real story because the universe is complex, the style is incredible, and Maurice was a magician. I tried it, and maybe 6 or 7 months after, I received again a news by phone. This phone, it was incredible, and they told me your life will be changed. And it was incredible, but it was true. My life's changed, and since 10 years, I work and I try to give life to Lucky Luke and to continue the magnific and awesome job of Maurice. And apparently the readers like it because we haven't lost the public, we have win public. So it's incredible.
If you want my opinion, you were the best choice. Really.
So much. How many I must pay you? Yeah, for me, I remember the first question I asked to myself. It was must be change everything or must be stay in the same spirit. And for me, it was stupid to change. First, because it was very proud. Uh, if you have this interrogation, you have an ego like that. After Maurice, everything was created. For me, it was only a sort of continuation. I want to be in the same spirit, maybe to keep the better. I preferred in the art of Maurice, and to choose the best Lucky Luke and the best Jolly Jumper. And for me, the best period for me as a reader, it was the 60s and the 70s. Between Calamity Jane and Diligence or Dalton City. It was incredible. Madalton, it was this period, tortillas for the Dalton, it was really incredible. And for me, it was the best period. So I chose this part of the art of Maurice and I try to continue in the same spirit. My, during all the first work, during the first pages, I remember my only one. I don't know the name. Obsession. Yes, obsession. Obsession was I want the readers never seen the difference. It was impossible, but I want to be in the same way, and it was only. If the readers say nothing, it will be perfect. I don't want to say it's good or bad. No, nothing is perfect. And it's what happened. I have great chance because what happened, they say nothing. The first little books, it was a little story right before the death of Maurice and never done by him. And I have received this little story. In fact, it was a 16 pages story, very funny, with a French cooker, and it was incredible. And they have had the idea to make a little album in Italian sounds, not 16 pages, of course, 32 pages, half pages, and they have sold it in a package with Maurice and Goscinny album, and no critic, no comments, perfect, and they sold, and they sold, and they sold all the books. It was good news. So I think it was my graduate, my graduation. I was graduate. They say, okay, we can go. But imagine, it was incredible. And after the first real book, La Belle Province, my real test was an incredible adventure too. I think really I dreamed since 10 years. A lot of chance, and I understand.
Well, let's talk about the future. Is there any new idea for a new album?
The last news. Ta-da-da! Advertising. New Lucky Luke is on the starting block because in France, the new Lucky Luke arrives in all the bookshop next week. So you understand, I am the promotional period. It's awful for me. It's perfect because I meet a lot of readers, but it's very hard because I have a lot of job. But it's always this incredible difference between our job. During 1 year, we work alone, alone, and suddenly they open the door, and everybody comes. I want to sketch. But yes, it's a good news. This is new Lucky Luke. I think good Lucky Luke, written by two good scenarists, two novelists in France, very known, Daniel Pénac and Tonino Benacquista, and certainly you will heard this name because Malavista, his last novel, one of his last novel, was made by for the cinema by Hollywood and with Robert De Niro and Michelle Pfeiffer, I think, or something, somebody star like that. So. The name is Cavalier Seul in French. I don't know the name for the German public or the English public. The story is about a sort of game between the four Dalton brothers, because three of them are bored of the attitude of Joe, who thinks always he is the chief, and they say, no, you are not the boss, and they say, okay, the first will have $1 million, will be the boss, and the adventure is on this little start, 1 million, how to make 1 million, and each brother go in different way, north, south, east, west, and you will see it's completely different. Joe, of course, stay on what he know to do. It's in fact is to attack banks, but the three others you will have a great surprise, because in fact they are not really bad guy in this. They arrive to have a lot of money. Curiously, not illegally. Yes, it's, for this next album will be certainly in Germany in March, I think, at EAPA, comic collection. And during this time, no, actually, I start to prepare a new Kid Lucky. In German, it's Lucky Kid, I think. Yeah. The youth of Lucky Luke, and it's more humoristic. And this series, I made it, and I make it alone. Text and sketch is mine. Yeah.
Isn't it difficult to work together with a novelist, because the novelist writes long books with hundreds of pages and not 48 pages of album?
Yes, it's really difficult. It's the reason why I am the storyboarder. I don't cut the text. But I must to put two sentence ears in a balloon, and I must to have another panels for the rest because they like to speak and to talk blah 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 blah. But the story is really well done. Uh, the construction, the building is incredible. They are, it's a good thing to have a novelist, traditional novelist, is that they know how to make a good story with a construction very solid. A story, it's a good story. It's not easy to do. You need a good prologue, development, and epilogue. Uh, you need a good construction for that. And when you have four characters, very important for the story, and inside you put Lucky Luke and Jolly Jumper, it's very difficult because the real hero is Lucky Luke. But the most important characters are Dalton, and you need to have a good mix and to have I don't know the name. Sorry, in English I don't know the. Of course, the language of the comic strip is French. It's a problem there. Un bon équilibre entre Lucky Luke et les Dalton. Translation. Ja. Ja.
Ein gutes Gleichgewicht also zwischen Lucky Luke und, und Daltons.
Okay. You know, my preferred characters in Lucky Luke are the Daltons. So you really make a dream come true to have a new album with them. What is your preferred character?
Oh, I'm like you. I like so much the stupid characters, not because they are stupid, because they are like children. It's very funny because in fact they are really clear. Uh, Whenever talk is very simple, and I think it's more stupid than bad, and it's what I like. Of course, my preference come to Lucky Luke and Jolly Jumper. It's incredible to draw those two characters during the action panels, action sketches. But when I can anime Rantanplan or Avril, it's a real pleasure because very strangely I heard them and they're completely stupid and it's very funny for myself too. Yeah.
I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. Okay, so I wish you really a pleasant stay. I thank you very much for this interview. Pleasant stay here in Frankfurt. I hope you will see something from the city and a very pleasant beginning of the of the publicity for the new album.
Yeah. And thank you for everybody and thank you to you. And again, excuse me for my English because I am sure a lot of mistakes in grammar and vocabulary. It's not my first language, but I am like all the French is way.
One last question. Where's the gun now?
Pardon?
Where's the gun?
My gun? My wife. Yeah, she keeps the gun in the fridge. I think. Yeah. Au cas où. We say in French. It's maybe one time. Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.